everybody, I'm here to show you another tip again for kayak fishing. I've seen a lot of videos online on YouTube about different ways that people rig their fish finder. It's personal preference. I have a way here that I wanted to share with you guys because I haven't seen anybody rig theirs like this, and I think it's a good way. One of the most important things for me when setting this up and rigging the fish finder was I didn't want to drill any holes in the boat, really. If I didn't need any holes, I didn't want to have to do it. The way that plastic contracts and expands, I'd rather not have holes in there if I didn't have to. So here I'm going to show you a way that I set up my fish finder, how I did it without drilling any holes, without making really any modifications to the kayak at all. And it works very well. I've been using this setup for over a year, haven't had any problems with it. I think it works pretty well, so I want to share it with you. What I got here is the Eagle 350 Cuda. It's got a great fish finder on it. One of the other things I really like about it is it has a GPS feature on it. I think this is really important. I use it a lot. If the wind's really blowing or the tide's getting pretty hard, you'll be able to see on the GPS how much speed you're making over ground. The other good thing about it, I don't know if you can see it right now if the camera picks it up, but the resolution on the fish finder is great. There's a lot of pixels on there. There's a lot of contrast, and those are really important. The more pixels you have and the better contrast, you get a better picture and you're able to see a little better what you're looking at. If you can see the lines coming down, the reason that it's not working right now is because it's not in the water. If it's in the water, you don't have any air bubbles between the transducer and the water, then you get a pretty clear picture. And I'll show you some of the different settings that I have on the Cuda here. Main ones I use are this sonar chart, which is the full one. You can have the split one, which you can zoom in on a specific water column while having the whole water, whatever your depth is, you have that open too. I use this one a lot too, map with sonar. You got the sonar over here on the right, and you have your map on the left, and you can zoom in and out of that. But the other thing too is you can change this bar that goes between the two screens. It splits them apart. I have it set a little bit more on the fish finder side, so I get more picture from the fish finder than I do the sonar. That's really what I want when I'm in this mode, so I prefer that. You can go up to your full map. Here you have the whole GPS. It's not a chart plotter. Chart plotter would have depths in the water. Those are a little bit more expensive. This is just a GPS. It gives you speed and that kind of thing, but distance, and but it won't show you the actual depth of the water, the different water that you're looking at on the map like a chart plotter would. This is all customized. I have my speed up there, water temperature. This is going to be the only thing that's going to be affected by the route that I've installed this, is the water temperature. It's close, it's just not right on because the transducer is actually in the hull of the kayak rather than actually in the water. So I have the time, my odometer, and depth reading down there. The same thing with your sonar page. When I got the full sonar chart up here, I have really big the depth there in feet, and I also have my ground speed in knots. Like I said, I find that really important. Even when I'm in the fish finder mode, I want to know how fast I'm drifting, or if I'm moving, if my anchor's moving. All that I can tell by looking at the speed. And another thing that's great about the GPS is you can mark spots on there. If you catch a fish somewhere, you can make a spot on there and mark it. It gives you your track, where you've been. I'm in my backyard, so I don't have a very big track here. But you can see it'll record where you've gone that day. You can put marks down. Usually if I catch a fish and it's something good, I want to come back to the spot, I hit zoom in, zoom out at the same time, and that's the man overboard button. It just leaves a mark as a man overboard. I'm the only one on the kayak, so it doesn't really matter to me, but I'll know where the spot is. So how I have this set up is, and I'm going to go ahead and unplug it so I can show it to you. I have a piece of pine here that I've cut to size to fit in this little this little space that's on the Prowler 13. By the way, this is an ocean kayak, Prowler 13. And this block of wood fits right where a tackle box is supposed to go there. The block of wood, you want to seal that with polyurethane. If you don't seal it, the water will get into the grain of the wood and it'll end up rotting the wood out. So it won't last very long. So once you got that sealed, I have a cutting board here that I got from Walmart. I just cut it the size and shape that I wanted it to. Here at the end I made a little taper, and I just took a heat gun right here, heated it up, and bent it to the angle that I wanted. That got it up over this little ridge that's in the back here. Puts the fish finder kind of right out over my cup holder, and it works pretty well. It also gives me a surface to cut on, so I don't have to cut on the lids of my tackle box or on the side of the kayak or any of those types of things. I just use the cutting board, what it's made for, put bait there, and start cutting it. It works really well. If I want to carry a tackle box, I can also put the tackle box on top of that and strap that down as well. The shield here I have made out of Lexan glass. I made this because when I paddle, almost all the water drips directly onto the fish finder. And since I fish mainly saltwater, and they don't play well with electronics, I figured I better come up with something to keep that a little more protected. It's waterproof. The fish finder is all waterproof, but the more salt water I can keep off there, probably the better life I'll get out of the unit. So what I've done is for this, I took an old pizza box, cut the pattern that I wanted, the shape of it, folded it up how I wanted, made sure it fit, made some modifications to it, got it just perfect. And then once I had it like I wanted to, I drew it out, traced it on the Lexan glass, cut it out, and then I took a heat gun and heated up the sides and bent them how I wanted to. Makes a pretty good little shield here. One of the things that I like about it is this U-shape here. A lot of times when I'm fishing, if my fishing rod's not in that front rod holder, I'll set it down in my lap, and that U keeps it from moving out of that notch, keeps my reel up out of the water, so that's not down in the salt water, and it keeps my rod right there where I can reach it, make a cast when I want to, and when I'm done with it I can just put it back down here without worrying about messing up my rod. What I've done with the wire here is you got a wire that comes out of it. I went through the pad eye, around, and into the hatch here. This keeps me from having to drill and put one of those rubber lock nuts that are sealed. It goes right through the hatch. It doesn't cause me any waterproof problems. I've flipped the boat before. I don't get any water in the hatch even with the cord running through here, and the cord's out of my way. So just this little length of cable, I really don't think it warrants putting a hole in the boat for. You know, if I don't have to put a hole, I usually don't. Try to figure out a way to go around it. So anyways, I have this cable running into the kayak, and I don't know if you can see it or not, but I have all my extra cable there stored on the side. It's all zip tied together neatly and wrapped around a scupper hole. And that keeps it back there in the back out of the way. The transducer is mounted with with silicone onto the hull. If there's no air bubbles in it, the silicone, then the transducer will actually shoot right through the plastic. It won't cause you any interference. It doesn't affect the unit at all. The only thing that might be off a little bit is the water temperature. That's not really that big of a deal for me. I usually know what the water temperature is before I go out anyways. And even at that, it's only a couple degrees off on water temperature. It's right there on the bottom of the boat, and usually shows pretty close to what the actual water temperature is. I got this plug here, which is made for a trolling motor. Hook battery power up to a trolling motor. It's waterproof. I think it makes a great connection between my battery and the unit. I'll show you my battery box here. I have this is a box, just a waterproof box that I got from Walmart. I think it was around $6 or $8. It works great. As you can see, there's a seal going around the inside of it to hold water out. And what I have here is one of the Hobbyco Torque Master Mini batteries. It's 12 volts, 4.5 amp hours, lead-free, sealed battery. It's perfect for the kayak. You don't have to worry about anything leaking, any problems like that. What I have is I've just this connection here. I ran through the box. I put a ton of silicone on both the front and the back to help protect it and keep water out of the holes that I made in there. The other important thing is you're going to want to put a fuse on there. You want to make sure that fuse is in line with your fish finder. When you do that, it gives you a little bit more reassurance that nothing's too bad is going to happen. The last thing you want out on the kayak is for something to get shorted out and your battery blow up, or even worse, melt a hole in your boat, and it wouldn't be good. It'd go eat through that plastic in no time at all. So make sure you put a fuse on there. That's really important. I've cut pool noodles here and just silicone them to the inside of the battery box. That just keeps the battery from slamming all over and rattling all over the place. Keeps it pretty well centered. Like I said, once you shut these locks there, the thing's waterproof. I've tested it. Water doesn't get in it. I use this. I don't have it on me right now, but usually in this space right here is my fishing license. I think it's a great place to keep my fishing license, keep it dry. I usually keep one on myself, but just in case I ever go out and forget my fishing license, I always have a backup because it's going to be in my battery box. I attached the battery box to the kayak using Velcro. It just sits right there in the Velcro. Connects up to my plug-in there, and that Velcro keeps it steady. There's about 2 inches here on the bottom where water, if there was to be water in the boat, it would go slosh around down that groove before it even reached the battery. So that pulls it up off the bottom of the boat pretty well. You don't have to do this. What I've done, you can see up there at the front, there's the drain plug. I've gotten a piece of 550 parachute cord and tied that to the drain plug, and I can attach it to my battery box. Just in case this ever got loose on me, I don't want the battery sliding back and messing up my transducer. It could knock it off the silicone there, and it'd just be a pain to remount it. So usually if I'm carrying the boat or something, that's a good idea to have that cord coming back to the battery. Even if it got off the Velcro, it's not going to go back any farther than it is right now. So I think that's a good thing. That's basically it. That's everything you need for the fish finder. You got your head unit, your transducer, and a battery. With that battery, there's several options you can do with the battery. You can do 8 AA batteries, and that'll make 12 volts, or you can just get a sealed 12 volt mini battery like that. This is 4.5 amp hours on the battery. I get about 25 hours of running time on a charge, which equals about 5 trips for me. I usually charge it up each time, but I don't have to. If I don't, I know I got another trip out of it. So the battery lasts long. It's not big, it's not heavy, it's not in the way of anything, so I think it works pretty well for me. So anyways, if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, let me know. Post them below and I'll answer back. Anyways, I just want to get this video out on YouTube, maybe help some other people that are either in the market for a fish finder or trying to figure out how they want to mount it on their specific boat. Like I said, I have the Ocean Kayak Prowler 13. Worked pretty well with that storage space in the front of me. I'm sure that the same method can be put into place on other boats. But this is just what worked for me. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if you guys got any questions, and thanks for watching.